Things still heating up for Disney. Yesterday, I reported on essentially Disney's ongoing financial problems. The fact that the entire company was for sale indirectly, that it was reported that the entire company was for sale. And if we look at the last month of their stock, that their stock had hit, they were a 1 year low, hit a 1 year low 2 days ago. And then today it's up a little bit, but the day is still young. So it could give that back. The fact that Disney Plus, a massive cash burning app where they are losing millions and millions and millions of paid subscribers every quarter, and the number of people that are unsubscribing, the number of people is actually increasing. So the rate at which Disney Plus is losing paying subscribers is increasing. That's a direct relation to, obviously, the quality of content that Disney puts out. People will pay for content. People will happily pay for content as long as that content is good and they find value in it. But now in 2023, things are not as free-flowing cash-wise as they were a few years ago. People are more educated on where they're spending their money. So there's been lots of moms, dads, parents, single people who don't want to give Disney money for their woke programming, so they unsubscribe from Disney Plus. Those same people also stop going to the Disney park. I mean, if I told you, which is 100% true fact, that in the weeks, the lines at Disney right now in peak season are shorter than they were 2 weeks after the COOF lockdowns. Who would have ever predicted that? They're almost half as long. That's how few people are going to Disney. Now, it has something to do with them charging something like $200 a person. That's not irrelevant. But it also has a lot to do with the political mess that Disney has put itself in. When you think of Disney now, you used to think about fun. You used to think about, fun movies, family friendly, this, that, and the other thing. Now you're like, oh, Disney? Yeah, the ones that got rid of the dwarves in the Snow White and called them magical creatures, and the ones that made Snow White Latino to prove a point. And there is that rhetoric. There is a point going out there. I think Matt Walsh made it, and he's correct, that Disney treats whiteness of their characters as something that is inherently problematic, that is inherently something that needs to be changed, updated, or reimagined. That's how Disney views whiteness in their characters. They remove Prince Charming from the Snow White story altogether. Why? Strong, independent women don't need no man. Fine, okay. But when all these women grow up single and eggless, and they look back at all this feminist messaging, they're going to be the ones to blame. I mean, that's just the truth of it. I'm not saying that there's anything inherently wrong with being single or childless, but I'm saying that preaching this kind of stuff is going to lead to even more of that. I mean, just look at the number of single men now. The number of single, high-earning men right now feels higher than it's ever been because they're literally just checking out of the dating scene. Why do you think that is? And it's obvious to me. And then there's going to be this whole generation of women who hit their mid-40s and have been single their whole life, and they've constantly posted about how amazing it is that they don't have kids, and they have these funny little names for people like, what are they called? Dark dorps or whatever, dual income, no kids, dinks. It's all a cope. Bob Iger sets Offsite meeting to calm high anxiety after saying TV may not be the core to Disney anymore. Bob Iger spoke at an Offsite meeting with senior TV leaders to calm high anxiety among thousands of employees after saying last week that linear television may not be core to Disney's businesses. The Offsite meeting was held yesterday, according to a reliable sources newsletter, citing people who attend. An individual with knowledge told The Wrap that the meeting hosted by Disney Entertainment co-chair Dana Walden had been planned for weeks and that Iger had always planned to attend. The returned CEO's comments made in a candid interview last week with David Faber naturally set off alarm bells inside of Disney's general entertainment content division of the Magic Kingdom that houses its linear businesses and operates as quintessential broadcast and cable networks such as ABC, the Disney Channel, National Geographic, FX, and FX. CNN reporter Oliver Darcy wrote. People familiar with the matter told Darcy that thousands of employees have been experiencing high anxiety. Sources noted to me, with them adding that Iger had effectively left staff in the dark by not communicating directly since the stunning interview. There have been no company-wide memos, no town halls, nothing but silence since Iger jolted the organization with the news. Tuesday's meeting sought to calm those nerves as Iger fielded questions submitted by the senior company leaders in attendance. Iger told the gathering that linear TV is incredibly valuable to our business. Yeah, right. He said what he meant what he said. It's like when somebody who's like drunk, whatever, says something and people always want to make excuses for it. Well, the reality is, usually a drunk person will speak a sober mind. Disney faces several concerning trends that are making one analyst, quote, more nervous. The entertainment giant is in the midst of cost-cutting push, but can only help so much, according to Nolan. His list of concerning revenue trends is growing, and he thinks those dynamics could weigh on Disney's negative narrative going forward. Nolan downgraded Disney stock from neutral from outperform back in May, citing a litany of concerns from which seem to get to the core of Disney's identity. For example, he flagged Disney will have a rough road ahead of once it inevitably tries to turn ESPN into a standalone streaming service. But then there's some near-term revenue trends that have him feeling more nervous. Nolan has already anticipated the slowdown in parks growth, but has now highlighted a Wall Street Journal report indicating that Walt Disney World had one of its slowest 4th of July weekends in 10 years. One of its slowest 4th of July weekends in 10 years. The parks dynamic is potentially worrisome for the current quarter. While the July 4th period won't affect the results, Disney is due to report August 9th, and it may represent similarly softening trends before that. Additionally, he flagged weak box office performance after Elemental struggled and the new Indiana Jones movie logged only a modest debut. Content production has now halted, the WGA writers and the actors strike threatening production plans until resolved, he wrote. Disney also faces challenges in legacy media as extensive cord cutting weighs on the company's traditional pay TV models. Linear TV ad sales do not appear to be improving in the United States or international. They're talking about like pay cable TV, linear TV. And ABC saw one of the fewer NBA Finals games last year versus last, Nolan said in the latest report. The company's expense reduction efforts could offer a cushion to profits in this view, but these top-line issues are concerning. Essentially, you can cut all the cost. You can cut all the costs you want, but eventually you have to make money again. And Disney's not doing that. I mean, if you look at, here's an article. Disney's Indiana Jones 5 took in $300 million at the box office so far. A disaster for CEO Bob Iger and Lucasfilm. Dial of Destiny could end up with just half of the earnings of its panned predecessor earned 15 years ago, and rival John Carter as Disney's biggest box office bomb. I mean, every movie they're putting out is losing hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not getting fixed. Do you think that people are going to get more or less likely to continue to support Disney and Hollywood? I mean, this is a disaster. And they spent all this money. It's $302 million global take now has only matched roughly the reported costs of their production budget, which suffered from expensive refilming and test screenings indicated audiences were less than thrilled. Marketing and promotion are expected to have added easily another $100 million. No, they always double it, so it's $600 million. They will lose three. So the movie needs to make 800 to 900 million just to break even. This movie is going to lose $300 million. Imagine being like Kathleen Kennedy and still having a job. I don't even understand how it's possible. I'm dead serious. I don't understand how this woman still has a job, how Bob Iger even has a job. It's absolute insanity, and I absolutely love to see it. Absolutely love it. They deserve this. They asked for this. They spat in the fans' eyes. They spat in the fans' faces. They destroyed all our beloved characters to replace them with strong, independent women who don't need no man or they-thems, and this is what they get. Where are all the they-thems showing up to support these movies? They don't want to see it either.